Hello my dear friends, you're in the Military with Summary channel, and this video we're going to discuss the most important events that took place during the previous 12 hours. We have a lot of very interesting updates, so let's start. And first we're going to talk about the United States of America, because the most important updates, the most important events of the 21st century took place exactly on the territory of Alaska. A historical meeting between the President of the United States of America and the President of the Russian Federation took place. So Anchorage awaits Putin, a red carpet laid out at the aircraft stairs. In this video, for example, we can see a pair of F-35s that escorted Putin's plane performed a flyover of Elmendorf base. And in this video, for example, we can see the moment when the President of the United States of America arrived on Alaska with the purpose to meet with the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. The most important detail probably is red carpet. This red carpet was discussed probably by every single person in the world. In this video we can see a limousine that arrived, and according to information we have later, we found out that this limousine was used to drive Vladimir Putin and the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, to the place where they were planning to start talks. So this is exactly the moment when both presidents entered this car, and then they're going to negotiations together. A very important detail, by the way. Lots of statements, lots of talks, lots of rumors were published during the previous 12 hours. And for example, this is exactly the moment when the talks 3-on-3 formula started. The Kremlin showed a video of the US talks in Alaska, along with Putin and Trump. Lavrov, Ushakov, Rubio, and Witkov are taking part in the conversation. So I would like to point to attention that when talking about all these things, we saw just an official part of these talks, the meetings between presidents, between special aides, and so on. But I would like to remind you that, according to information we have, the director of CIA, Radcliffe, also was a part of US delegation, and the Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation was also a part of this delegation. So most likely, at least these two persons, and maybe the Minister of Defense of the United States of America, Hexet, took place probably in below the, or let's say under the closed doors, and they had a separate meeting where most likely they were talking about details regarding a peaceful settlement of the conflict and prisoner exchange, and probably exchange of spies between the United States of America and the Russian Federation. Also, very important detail that right before this meeting, the President of the United States of America had a very interesting conversation with the President of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko. And according to information we have, they were talking about prisoner exchange. And according to information we have, Trump asked Lukashenko to release 1,300 prisoners. So most likely we are going to see something like this in coming days. And by the morning, according to information we have, the President of the United States of America had a call with the President of Ukraine, Zelenskyy. He called him to visit Washington this coming Monday. Most likely he will be given instructions or the final plan or final decision of the United States of America and the Russian Federation, and then everything will depend just on Zelenskyy whether to accept this plan or not to accept this plan. But if Zelenskyy refuses or reject this possible plan, then most likely the United States of America will leave the conflict and will leave Ukraine one-on-one with the Russian Federation. And somewhere at 11 a.m. of Moscow time, Donald Trump made another statement. He published this article in his social network. A great and very successful day in Alaska. The meeting with President Vladimir Putin of Russia went very well, as did at late night phone call with President Zelenskyy of Ukraine and various European leaders, including the highly respected Secretary General of NATO. It was determined by all that the best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to go directly to a peace agreement, which would end the war, and not to a mere ceasefire agreement, which oftentimes do not hold up. President Zelenskyy will be coming to Washington, the Oval Office, on Monday afternoon, or if all works out, we will then schedule a meeting between President Putin, Zelenskyy, and probably Trump itself. Potentially millions of people's lives will be saved. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So Trump is trying to tell us that maybe the next week the war between the Russian Federation and Ukraine will be ended, and everything depends just on Zelenskyy whether he's going to accept this proposal or not. But most likely, according to this secret proposal, Zelenskyy will be forced to withdraw his positions from the Donbas region and many other territories of Ukraine. And when talking about the situation on the ground, right before the meeting started between Trump and Putin, the Ukrainians published their own article regarding the situation in the area of Russian breakthrough to the north of the city of Pokrovsk. And furthermore, a bit later, the pro-Ukrainian resources made their own adjustments on map. According to these adjustments, the Ukrainians during the previous 3 days managed to improve their positions significantly. The core of Ukraine counterattack, the first military core, was a core of Ukraine counterattack during the previous days, during the previous 3 days, and according to them, they managed to recapture more than 60% of the territories that were taken by the Russian sabotage and reconnaissance group. So this is, for example, an article that was published by this first corps of Azov of National Guard. Over the past 3 days, the forces and means of the first corps of the Azov National Guard, together with adjacent and subordinated units, have stopped the enemy's advance in the defense zone in the Pokrovsk direction. As a result of search and strike operations, the following settlements were cleared: Грузковая, Рубежная, Нововодяна, Petrivka, Veselый, Zolotoy Kolodец. As a result of active operations in the operational zone of the core, the Russian armed forces suffered significant losses. And then we can see the losses that the Russians suffered according to pro-Ukrainian resources. So this is the statement, but we haven't adjusted the map based on the statement of the first Azov Corps, because this could be just a media attack. The main purpose of this media attack was to show Ukrainian progress on the ground right before the beginning of the talks process. At the same time, we have a video that confirms Russian progress on the ground. This is exactly the icons that I'm talking about. So in this video that was published by Ukrainian sources, we can see a number of FPV drone attacks on Russian units and Russian soldiers that were located in the territory of the village of Veselый. Lots of FPV drone attacks, lots of strikes, lots of units of the armed force of the Russian Federation we can see in this video. We can see Ukrainian robotic systems that they were using to counterattack, and in the final part of this video we can see how Ukrainians managed to capture several Russian soldiers. Lots of episodes took place exactly in this point. So based on this video, we have adjusted the map and we have added this territory in the complete Russian control. So now let's compare the map between the dates. This is the situation, for example, by the end of the 15th of August of 2025, when most of these territories were considered as a gray zone or contested area, and now we have enough of proofs to confirm that the Russians managed to improve their positions. Of course, when talking about our rules, the rules of our map, we should have adjusted the map based on the report of Deep State, but this time we decided to make an exception because it is very important to get additional confirmation, and it is very important to understand that this attack carried out by the first corps of the National Guard of the Armed Forces of Ukraine wasn't just a media attack with the purpose to show flags and to show prisoners of war all over the entire area of breakthrough. That it is a long-term counter-offensive that allowed the Ukrainians to stabilize the situation, not just for several hours, but for weeks or even months. So let's wait additional updates from different sources, and of course it's good to have some video geolocations that can confirm indeed Ukrainian progress on the ground. And that's it for the short video. Military Summary channel reminds you can condemn any violence in the world. Thank you for watching, subscribe to my channel, put your likes on my Patreon, and have a good day. Bye bye.